So let me tell you the story of this woman that's actually gonna change your life. Now look, this is a sad story, but don't be crying, bro. So her real name is Anna, but we're just gonna call her Cindy, because I don't want to reveal her identity. So basically, Cindy is married with 3 kids. So one day, this woman in the morning, she just wakes up during the summer, and to her, basically, it was just like a typical Sunday morning. So as soon as she wakes up, she just takes like one of those like psychology books and she reads them because she's basically a psychiatrist. But she realized she wasn't really focused, like her mind was just somewhere else. So she goes downstairs and then she realizes like her husband is gone, he's not there. So she's just wondering, she's like, where's my husband? So she goes to the kids and the kids are like, Mama, Baba is not here. Baba just kissed us and he said goodbye and just left. So she's like, okay, that's pretty odd. So she calls him and he doesn't pick up. And she keeps calling him, but he just doesn't pick up. So what happened is that later throughout that day, at like 3:30 p.m. or something, she gets a knock at the door of her house. So she opens the door and she just sees police standing. So the police are like, excuse me, are you Anna? Are you Cindy? And she was just like, yeah, why? And so they basically give her the news. This morning, your husband jumped off the tallest building at the center of the city. And obviously he died. So Cindy is just basically in shock. So the kids are like paralyzed, she is paralyzed, they're traumatized, and she's trying to like hold her emotions so the kids are not even more traumatized. So her head starts hurting, her gut starts aching. Bro, like her neck and shoulders literally become stiff. Basically what happened that day, the hormones of stress literally overtook Cindy's body. And now Cindy is just basically living in survival mode. She basically activated like her fight or flight system and her body is again like it's just literally in survival mode. Now look, whenever us humans we activate the fight or flight system, like it is helpful, but it's only helpful for like a few minutes. Like not for hours, but like the Cindy women, the fight or flight system became active for like not hours, bro, but like years. So basically adrenaline and cortisol like is overtaking her whole body. And bro, like not even animals can sustain that state. But here's the thing, like us humans, we have a big brain. So whenever something traumatic happens, our big brain, it literally takes a screenshot of whatever happened that moment, whatever traumatic events happened that moment. It just takes a screenshot and then that becomes memory. So then throughout the day, throughout her whole life, she keeps replaying this memory in her thoughts. And as a result, because she keeps replaying this memory, she's basically experiencing the same moments, the traumatic moments, every single moment. So her body is literally stuck in the past. She's firing the same neurons in her brain. As a result, she's experiencing the same emotions and she's stuck in this loop. So she's always thinking, she's like, why would my husband do such a thing? How did I not know that he was unhappy with me this whole time? Why would he not even leave me like a goodbye note at least? And why would he freaking leave me raising 3 children all alone? And like what kind of coward would even do such a thing and leave me? So every day Cindy is literally like reliving this whole experience moment by moment, like over and over again. And this is actually pretty scary because what happens is when your brain keeps firing the same neurons, those neurons are going to be connected. It's almost like there's going to be like highways of neurons in your mind, so it becomes easier to fire those same neurons again and again. So as a result, it becomes easier to fire those same thoughts again and again. So your body becomes like a record of the past. It literally becomes living in the past, like it's stuck in the past. Like right now, Cindy is just basically frozen in time. She can't get beyond herself. And the sad thing is when she's always constantly feeling like hatred, anxiety, depression, guilt, shame, when she's constantly feeling those things obviously become an emotion. Then as a result, it becomes an identity. And then as a result, that's basically her whole personality. So now she thinks of herself as the woman whose husband decided to commit suicide. So as a result, what happened? A few months later, this woman loses her job because obviously like she can't work in that state anymore. And then she realizes like her husband, he basically left a bunch of debts that he couldn't pay. And that's why he decided to do suicide. So this girl right now, or this woman, is stuck. She has to basically pay that whole debt. And then 9 months later, Cindy becomes paralyzed. So her nervous system is basically inflamed. She goes to the doctors, and the doctors are like, I don't even know what's happening to you. They basically tell her, like, your immune system is fighting your nervous system. So now she doesn't have motor neurons in her legs. Like, she can't really move her legs anymore. She can't hold her pee, bro. So they put her on a wheelchair, because what's happening is this woman right now is feeling those same stress hormones for 9 months. By the way, this is a true story. It's not fake. This is a true story. So look, her body is like literally using up all the energy it has to fight the stress thing that's happening in her body, to fight the stress emotions that are happening in her body. So as a result, there's no more energy in the body for repair or for healing. And this girl is literally manifesting disease in her body right now. So the doctors put her on like huge medication. And then a few weeks later, she develops a bacterial infection. So the medication is just ruining her body even more. She can't even produce saliva, and she just lost appetite. And then she gets diagnosed with clinical depression. And then she's thinking, she's like, bro, it can't get any worse than this right now, man. So she understands why her husband basically killed himself, and now she's thinking the same thing. But Habibi, do you realize what's actually happening here? Look at this. So one traumatic event, basically that creates a memory in your head. This memory gets played on loop in your thoughts, in your mind. What happens as a result is you start getting negative emotions. So the body uses all the energy to fight these emotions because it thinks there's like a danger to your body. Because look, back in the day when we used to live in like the Stone Age, and then you're just living your life and a lion starts chasing you, obviously you get the fight or flight thing activated in your body. So you start getting all these negative emotions in your body so you can at least like keep yourself alive. But what's happening is that nowadays, this thing is happening literally every single moment. Whenever people get traumatic events, the same thing happens in our body, but it keeps happening on loop. And as a result, what happens is there's no more energy left for healing and repair. And as a result, you just start to get disease. And by the way, this traumatic event, it doesn't need to be like the death of someone you love, by the way. Like some people, this traumatic event can literally just be like someone said something negative to you and you get hurt. And as a result, you go through the same downward loop. And what's even scarier is we actually become addicted to these emotions. Because these emotions, like the adrenaline, it gives you like a rush of energy momentarily, and then it goes away. So then you keep thinking the same stuff, feeling the same emotions because you're addicted to them now. And bro, like these thoughts are literally making Cindy sick. But anyway, thankfully, this woman realizes like her life got so bad. So she's just lying on the floor crying, and she basically makes a prayer. As a result, like she makes a decision. She was like, listen, I'm already destroyed. And so what she did is that she stopped taking all the medications that the doctor gave her. So her family doctor keeps calling her, but she's just not picking up. She takes the kids and moves somewhere else. And then she starts learning about how your thoughts and emotions can actually affect your reality. So she reads more about this stuff and she's just like, wait a minute. If I created the life I have right now because of my thoughts and emotions, then imagine what else I can create using those same thoughts and emotions. Like I created the disease. I created the paralysis. I created the depression and all that stuff. So imagine what else I can create. So that's when she actually started realizing that the responsibility is in her hand. It's not somewhere else far away. It's actually in her hand. And by the way, I'm a Muslim. So it actually does say in the Quran that Allah gives you everything that you've asked for. And I remember I used to read that ayah where it says, or like the verse where it says, I've given you everything you've asked for. And I was just thinking, I'm like, Habibi, I never actually asked for the negative things. But in reality, I did. And you guys did as well, because when you're thinking and you're feeling, you're asking. So you actually ask. You have a choice with the thoughts and emotions you have. And as a result, Allah just literally gives it to you. Whatever you're thinking and you're feeling, Allah just gives it to you. And by the way, it might not be like instantaneously, obviously. It's going to take some time, just like a seed needs to take some time to actually become a tree. But that's the thing, like if your thoughts and emotions are negative, then that's what you're asking for. You're just asking for negativity. But the beautiful thing is that the opposite is like 100% true, bro. So this woman started doing the inner work. She actually started meditating. Obviously, like it was hard at first to meditate because when you're literally sitting, like if you're just literally sitting like this and you're doing nothing, like you're already addicted to the negative feelings and emotions. So your body is going to start telling you, it's like, you're doing something dumb. This thing doesn't actually heal you. You're not really putting anything in your body to heal you. This is basically pseudoscience. Like at this point, you're just lying to yourself. That's what the body's going to be telling you. But you have to realize that this is only the body and the mind telling you this stuff. And you're actually greater. You're something greater than the body and the mind. So even though the outside environment of this woman's life was like a total mess, eventually she actually learned how to feel gratitude on command. And this is a skill that you guys have to learn, like feeling emotions, good emotions on command. So as a result, what happened? Bro, her life completely changed. And again, this is actually a true story. I got the story from the book called Becoming Supernatural from Joe Dispenza. So you can, if you want to read it, you can read it and you'll see how this girl's life actually changed. But here's the thing, bro. The way you speak to yourself actually matters, because the way you speak to yourself is with your thoughts. Like you actually need to literally sit down and just become conscious of the unconscious thoughts that you have. Because bro, these thoughts actually dictate your reality. These thoughts create your personality. Bro, like even if you think you have like no negative thoughts, just look at your life. If you're living like your day and you're feeling negative emotions, or you look at your life and it's like a negative life, that already tells you that comes from negative thoughts. And thing is too, is that you actually, like you know this deep down. Like whenever you look at a friend and you know that this friend has a negative personality, you can already tell that this friend is never going to achieve something big in their life. And you already know they can't achieve something big in their life because they already have negative thoughts. They have a negative personality. And you already know that if they just change who they actually are, they'll change their entire life. And the thing is that you can't really do that with yourself just because you've actually identified with these thoughts that you have like for so many years. So you need to almost like divorce these thoughts in your brain and just realize like Allah gave us such a power that wherever we direct our attention to, we start getting control of the thing that we're putting our attention on. So if you start directing your attention to the unconscious thoughts that you have and just be aware of them, like literally just be aware of them, that actually changes like literally everything inside you. So what I recommend to you, bro, is like literally just sit down in a room like this, or even like under a tree, like I said in my previous video, and just start watching the thoughts that you get. Don't identify with the thoughts, and don't try to control them. Don't try to change them. Just sit down, and whatever thought that comes to you, just be aware of it, and then just let it go. Eventually you'll realize what you're actually made of. And then you'll actually realize that you're not these thoughts. You're something way greater than these thoughts, man. And that's something so beautiful. And once you start to actually like realize this stuff, you start playing life from like a third person mode where you actually get to control the thoughts and actions that you do. At this point, there's no more laziness because you're aware of this stuff. And at this point, even if something traumatic happens, you already know how to deal with it because you need to know how to deal with it. But yeah, bro, I hope this video was helpful. This story actually, I don't know, I've read this story like a long time ago, but this time I read it once again and I was just like, that's so powerful, man. This stuff is actually so powerful.